Hello and thank you for joining me. So I watched a lovely film last night called Young Woman in the Sea. It's based on the true life story of Trudy Ederle and adapted from Glenn Stout's 2009 book Young Woman in the Sea, How Trudy Ederle Conquered the English Channel and Inspired the World. It was a great timing, as I've also been watching the Olympics over the last few weeks and revelling in the extraordinary feats of so many athletes, whether it be watching Keely Hodgkinson winning the 800 metre gold or Simone Biles executing moves no one's ever done before. The dedication and commitment that goes into being an elite athlete is there for us all to see. However, watching the film reminded me of the pioneers and the trailblazers that literally had to shake the world in order to enable those that have come after them to be able to compete and be successful. The film follows Trudy Ederle's life from her childhood in early 1900s America, where she almost dies of measles, recovering miraculously with only slight hearing damage. And then following the general Slocum, I think it's pronounced, disaster, where almost 1,000 people died when a passenger ship caught fire just outside New York, simply because most of them were women and children who hadn't been taught how to swim. Trudy's mother, very unusually for the time, encouraged her daughters to learn to swim. Trudy was not only discouraged to swim because it was seen as a male pastime or sport, but she also wasn't allowed to even swim in the pools, as they were afraid that her previous measles from childhood, that infection, could still be contagious if she was allowed in the pool. So not only did Trudy overcome these obstacles, as well as many other setbacks and adversities, she took on her own destiny and ended up being the first woman to swim the English Channel. Something no one thought possible, and something some tried to even sabotage. When Trudy swam the channel in 1926, it was something only 5 men had ever done before her. And not only did she succeed in completing the 21-mile swim through swarms of jellyfish and against huge currents and freezing temperatures, but she also smashed the men's time record by over 2 hours. In doing so, she changed the shape of women's sport. In the 1928 Olympics, as a direct result of her efforts only 2 years previously, she proved the establishment wrong and inspired a generation, so even more events were opened up for women. It's a lovely film and an amazing underdog story that teaches us anything is possible if you believe in yourself, if you ignore the critics and the systems that are set up against you, but lean on the support that's there for you, in Trudy's case, her family. If you refuse to fail and set your mind on a clearly defined goal, then anything can be overcome and achieved, even when the world is telling you it can't. Trudy's story is fabulous and clearly has opened a path for many to follow in, especially women. It's just a shame, I guess, perhaps, that in watching some of the non-sporting stories surrounding the current Olympics, some 98 years later, that some of these athletes are still having to fight the system. It's a lovely film. I recommend a watch. Thank you very much for listening. Take care.